this, lights down and away we go. And look at Nico Rosberg get off a line, a brilliant start for him, but it looks like Vettel's going to hopefully go into turn 1. Felipe Massa's got off to a fantastic start, passing Ricciardo into turn 1. And now looking at this battle for the lead, we can have a look at Nico Rosberg, who has the better line than Sebastian Vettel out of that corner, and he's using the slipstream to try and make a move around the outside of the reigning champion. Ricciardo's managed to close in a second to the top 2, and Sebastian Vettel is pitting in a very early stop for the defending champion, so this will promote Ricciardo up into second place. And there is Ricciardo, and Ricciardo has made an overcut work on Sebastian Vettel, but he is closing in Nico Rosberg. Could we have a small battle for the lead now? He's going to move to the outside line of the Mercedes driver, and Daniel Ricciardo is legitimately in the lead for the first time this race on lap 23. Nico Rosberg goes back into the lead of the Australian Grand Prix, not far away from the end of the Grand Prix now, and he does go through, going very wide on the exits. Tyre wear and the fuel will be kicking in shortly, and Rosberg takes back the lead. I think he has managed to manage his tyres a little bit better than the Red Bull, but all eyes on the man who's going to finish in a fantastic second place. It's Daniel Ricciardo. Hey, what's up? It is Dan or DMath96 here, and welcome back to our Daniel Ricciardo Career Mode on F1 2015 here at the Malaysian Grand Prix. Now, I apologise for the long wait of this series. I've been very busy over the last couple of weeks and I haven't really had enough time to get this episode out for you guys, but here we are at Sepang for the second round of our second season of Career Mode. Obviously, last time the Australian Grand Prix, Daniel took a fantastic second place behind Nico Rosberg, and showing that he could challenge those Mercedes at the front of the field. But this time he's come into a track that seems to focus more on straight line speed. However, last year he seemed to cope with it quite well in the Red Bull. If you can remember back to last year's Malaysian Grand Prix, the main part of last year's Malaysian Grand Prix was Williams getting the jump on Lewis Hamilton Mercedes and spending most of the Grand Prix in first and second position. Felipe Massa and Valtteri Bottas battered it out at the start of the race before Massa eventually dropped off. And then Valtteri Bottas had a good battle with Lewis Hamilton towards the end of the Grand Prix, which ended up with Bottas overtaking Lewis Hamilton on the final lap of the race to secure his first Formula 1 Grand Prix victory. Meanwhile, back down in fourth position, we saw Sebastian Vettel, the driver who we were last season, and it didn't go well at all, because on the final lap we had to use too much fuel, and by the final straight, Massa and Ricciardo managed to get past Sebastian, and Daniel Ricciardo managed to take fourth at the final corner, getting past Felipe Massa, and would finish behind the two Mercedes drivers of Lewis Hamilton in third, getting overtaken by his teammate Nico Rosberg, who would eventually finish in second place, and our winner of course being Valtteri Bottas in the Williams. But can Williams produce a surprise again this year? We'll have to find out in the race, but first it's time to move on to the qualifying report. With rain expected to produce a few surprises on Sunday, qualifying will be crucial here in Malaysia. Jenson Button once again outperformed teammate Fernando Alonso, as the Brit will start 13th for the second consecutive weekend. The same could be said at Sauber, with Felipe Nasr away off his teammate, down in 17th. Both Lotus drivers lock out row 8, with Pastor Maldonado coming out on top. Max Verstappen starts in a solid 10th place alongside Force India's Sergio Perez, both managing to outperform their teammates. After his surprise second place in Australia, the momentum has carried on for Daniel Ricciardo as he once again makes it into the top 5. Valtteri Bottas this time gets the better over teammate Felipe Massa as the Finn breaks into the top 4. Sebastian Vettel lines up third ahead of teammate Kimi Raikkonen in 6th, but with a Finn known to have stronger race pace compared to Sebastian, could Kimi provide a few surprises on Sunday? All of this means it's a 1-2 for Mercedes, but it's Lewis Hamilton who comes out on top, making up for his poor qualifying in Australia. So now looking back at the grid for the Malaysia Grand Prix, and it's Lewis Hamilton on pole position, leading an all-Mercedes front row with teammate Nico Rosberg second, and Sebastian Vettel and Valtteri Bottas locking out the second row. The surprise of Australia, Daniel Ricciardo starts 5th ahead of Ferrari's Kimi Raikkonen, with the other Red Bull Daniel Kvyat behind the Brazilian Felipe Massa in the Williams. On row 5, the Force India of Sergio Perez leads for Toro Rosso of Max Verstappen, and on row 6, the Force India of Nico Hülkenberg leads for Toro Rosso of Carlos Sainz. It was another decent qualifying session for Jenson Button as he starts 13th for the second consecutive race. The two Lotus drivers lock out row 8, past Maldonado getting the better of his teammate. Felipe Nasr had a woeful qualifying down to 17th, and it's the two Manners who lock out the back row once again for this weekend's Malaysia Grand Prix. So it's a 5th place start for Daniel Ricciardo in hope to score another podium finish as like he did last time out in Australia. Rain is possible for this race weekend, so we never know what could happen. We're going to have to wait and see. But here we are, Lewis Hamilton did get pole position in qualifying ahead of teammate Nico Rosberg, so Mercedes front row lockout and much better than Hamilton's 12th place start he got in Australia. But we all know Hamilton is very fast and he looks like he's going to be a contender for the race win today as he finished 3rd last time out in Australia. But as we go onto the grid, and as the lights are about to illuminate here above the drivers, here at the Malaysian Grand Prix, we are underway at Sepang, and Lewis Hamilton getting off to a good start. Felipe Massa trying to get alongside Daniel Ricciardo, but staying behind him for the time being. And Ricciardo loses a position to Kimi Raikkonen, obviously Ferrari getting a better start than the Red Bull, but going into turn 1, he gets the inside line on the Ferrari driver. It will be the outside line going into turn 2. He's going to get past Valtteri Bottas at the same time, and Ricciardo looks like he's going to move into 4th position, still side by side with the Williams driver. Bottas moving ahead with a superior traction straight line speed. We go into turn 4, I believe, and Ricciardo makes the move stick on Valtteri Bottas to move into 4th place as we go into the fast left-hander. It is the two Mercedes drivers, Lewis Hamilton leading, I believe, and Daniel Ricciardo. Sector 2 seems to be where the Red Bull excels the best as he is closing in on the top 3. Sebastian Vettel in the Ferrari, probably one of the targets that Red Bull could beat this entire season. For Mercedes, I think we'll have to work on beating Mercedes, but Ricciardo trying to make a move around the inside of Sebastian Vettel, but it's not going to be enough. He tries to go around the inside for the next corner, going a little bit wide in the process and just staying behind Sebastian for the time being. So a brilliant start for Ricciardo, staying in 4th position as we move on to the end of lap 1, using that slipstream to try and get past Sebastian Vettel going into the final corner, and Daniel Ricciardo ports his Red Bull car into 3rd position. Sebastian making a mistake on the exit to the final corner, and he slots into 4th position ahead of his teammate Kimi Raikkonen. But will that be for long? As we have a look in the background, that is Kimi Raikkonen going past Sebastian Vettel. Daniel Ricciardo not aware of any of this at all, and Sebastian Vettel was losing a position to Raikkonen. Looks like he's going to lose position to the Williams of Valtteri Bottas, and it's an awful first lap for Sebastian Vettel, dropping down to 6th position. But now moving on to lap 3, Ricciardo making a mistake there. The two Mercedes drivers have absolutely gone off into the distance. I don't think we're going to be getting a win here. There's Ricciardo going wide, allowing Kimi Raikkonen to go through with the DRS as well. Sebastian Vettel even fancying his chances going into the final corner, and Vettel does make a move around the inside. Not enough though. Ricciardo holds off just and stays in That's 4th position, and Vettel getting another poor exit in, out of the final corner. Valtteri Bottas now trying to make a move on the defending world champion, and Valtteri Bottas with the superior straight line speed in Matt Williams. Obviously, having that Mercedes engine as a benefit for Williams, moves into 5th position. Meanwhile, back with Daniel Ricciardo, he is in 4th position, and as we move on to lap 5, the Ferrari with its superior straight line speed is pulling away from the Renault-powered Red Bull, which is certainly not being helped by Daniel Ricciardo's poor driving in that final sector. Sebastian Vettel making light work of the Australian going on the straight with the DRS. I don't think Ricciardo's going to try and make a move, as I believe he is pitting on the end of this lap. He is with Valtteri Bottas in the Williams, so very interesting call there. And it's going to be a battle between the two teams' pit crew to try and see who will emerge ahead. As we go into the pit boxes, I believe both drivers will be fitting the option tyres once again, as Daniel Ricciardo, he does fit the white striped medium tyres, which are the option tyres for this weekend, and I think Bottas is on the same tyres, but Ricciardo, as you can see, easily emerging ahead of the Williams driver. As we exit the pit lanes, they're going to be way down the field in 18th and 19th behind the two Manor drivers, of Roberto Merri and Will Stevens. And Daniel Ricciardo is still doing a good job. I think he's going to try and get an undercut on Sebastian Vettel, which is one of the reasons why he tried to pit that early. But now staying on lap 6, and a mistake there from Daniel Ricciardo. I'm not sure if that was our fault or Roberto Merri's, but we've had a lot of problems with Roberto Merri in our entire time playing this game, so it could be anyone's fault really. So we move on to lap 8. And we move up into 6th position. I think we are ahead of Sebastian Vettel, so we did get the undercut on him. And as you can see, he is behind us, and we're having a big scrap here with Valtteri Bottas as we lose a position on the straights where the Williams excels the best, of course, because they have superior straight line speed with that Mercedes-Benz engine. As we stay on lap 10 now, Daniel Ricciardo trying to hold on to Valtteri Bottas, and that's Valtteri Bottas facing the wrong way. We're going to have a look on the replay what happened here, and I think Daniel Ricciardo must have failed to see the Williams, and he has spun round, and a real shame for Bottas. He could have had a good chance of scoring some points. I don't know if that was our fault. I think it probably was, but I don't think we could have seen Valtteri Bottas there trying to make a move. It was unfortunate for the Williams driver. He has spun round and he has lost a lot of time now. But now moving on to lap 12, we'll be on to lap 13 now. Daniel Ricciardo making his second pit stop out of the 3 that he has planned to do this weekend, on for another set of the option tyres, and I think he'll drop outside the points. You can see Valtteri Bottas going into the pit, so he's pitting on the same lap as us, as Nico Hülkenberg goes past Romain Grosjean, Carlos Sainz, Max Verstappen. So we're going to drop to about 14th position behind Jenson Button in the McLaren. But on to lap 13, the Saubers go into the pits. We are now behind Jenson Button in the McLaren. I believe there's a few other drivers entering the pit lane as well. Romain Grosjean's one of them. We now move into 10th position. 2 drivers also coming out of the pits. One of them is Sebastian Vettel. One of those drivers is Sebastian Vettel, and we are battling him for points in this race. As we have a look now onto lap 14, we are still behind Jenson Button and Pastor Maldonado going into the tricky left-hander now. We're going to try and make a move on Jenson Button, and we're also going to do it on Maldonado. 2 cars in 1 corner. What a fantastic move from Daniel Ricciardo to move into 6th position. Like it won't matter at all, because those 2 drivers have to pit. So we move on to lap 16. The option tyres once again wearing off quite quickly now, and Sebastian Vettel going wide on the exit after passing us. And we stay in 5th position, pulling ahead slightly of Vettel because of a mistake that he made on lap 16 of this Grand Prix. A very exciting race so far. I don't think we're going to be battling for a win, so it's just going to be for that place outside the podium in 4th position. Again, not much happening. Moving on to lap 19 now, and we make our final pit stop for the prime tyres, the last pit stop we're going to be making of this race weekend. I believe we're the only driver battling for 4th position that has made their final pit stop. I actually don't know on that one, but we rejoin in 11th position behind Max Verstappen and Romain Grosjean, who still haven't made their final pit stop. We're moving on to lap 20 with the DRS wide open. We are catching up to Verstappen and Grosjean now, going into turn 1, running wide slightly, but still passing Max Verstappen, who still needs to pit though on his slightly worn option tyres. But here we are moving on to lap 21, the next lap now, and Sebastian Vettel is just exiting the pits, and that is a disaster. He is rejoined, well, quite a way ahead of us, and the surprise of all, Felipe Massa in the Williams has not only got ahead of us, but got ahead of Vettel as well, so a major surprise. And, well, Valtteri Bottas is still behind us, but Felipe Massa pulling all sorts of surprises here in Malaysia. He's now in 5th position, and I think is in good contention for that 4th place, as I believe the guy ahead is Danny Kvyat, our teammate. He is still yet to pit as we go to make a move on Sebastian Vettel, moving into 6th position. It will be 5th once Kvyat pits, like I said earlier, but a good move there from Ricciardo to move into 6th position, but now he has the DRS wide open on the back straight to move past Felipe Massa into 5th position on the track. At least he's 4th in the race because Kvyat hasn't pitted yet, and that is not an image you want to see. That is Sebastian Vettel right behind Daniel Ricciardo. Felipe Massa must have made a mistake, and because of that, Vettel is now going to move past Ricciardo into that 5th position. And, well, Vettel staying ahead for the time being, however, but I don't know if you can see on the screen, but raindrops are falling, and it's going to be raining, and this battle for 4th position is getting even more exciting now. Moving on to lap 22, Ricciardo still struggling to gain Sebastian Vettel, making a very, very challenging move on the inside of that left-hander to take back 5th off Vettel. And with only a few laps left, is the rain going to come down heavier? It seems like it is on lap 23. and Ricciardo has made the call to pit for the intermediate tyres, and this could be crucial in the race. Vettel is behind. I believe he is also on the same set of tyres. Yes, he is. So everyone, I think, is now on the intermediate tyres, and we're going to have an intense battle for fourth. Ricciardo trying to hold it on round the outside of turn 1, but he'll have the inside line for turn 2, so a good tactic there for the Australian. And the Williams, I think that is Valtteri Bottas, is also closing in on this, onto the end of that 25. Now Vettel moving down the inside on the straight into the final corner. Ricciardo trying to get the undercut again, and he has managed to hold on to that 4th position. Of course, Vettel having a better straight line speed to Ricciardo in with that Renault powered Red Bull, but now going onto the battle for the lead. And the big surprise is Kimi Raikkonen managing to gain through the field. He's passed Lewis Hamilton, and he's going to go past Nico Rosberg to go into the lead. So Kimi Raikkonen could salvage something from Ferrari. He's taken the lead of this Grand Prix, a big surprise, as we now have Valtteri Bottas challenging us. Vettel dropping down, Bottas moving ahead, but now he'll move back behind us again now as we stay in 4th position. And I think Vettel will have the speed on Bottas going down the straight. Obviously no DRS allowed because of the poor weather conditions. But this battle for 4th is still heating up here in Malaysia as Bottas goes down the inside again. This is on the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. Ricciardo holding on around the inside line, and they've both gone into the pits. I don't understand this. And Ricciardo is now way in 4th position. Bottas and Vettel have gone into the pits, and I think they're pitting on for the wets. If you remember, at last year's Chinese Grand Prix, Lewis Hamilton did the same thing, pitted for wets on the final lap, and that gave Sebastian Vettel the win. But it seems to be everyone behind us is pitting for wet tyres. You can see there's the Toro Rosso, there's McLaren, Lotus, Force India. Everyone is pitting. This is absolutely unbelievable scenes, and it basically means we've been gifted 4th place because everyone else has made stupid decisions to pit on a final lap for wet tyres. And Daniel Ricciardo is going to cruise home to 4th position. Nico Rosberg has won the Malaysian Grand Prix. Unfortunately, I couldn't find the part where he overtook Raikkonen on the track. Oh, I know it was on the final lap of the race, but I can find the part where he crosses the line and takes that checkered flag to take his 2nd victory in a row, winning the first 2 races and extending his lead in the championship by another massive 25 points. But the man who is currently in 2nd in the championship, he has driven brilliantly this weekend in Malaysia as he crosses the line to secure that 4th position, an absolute mile ahead of the rest of the field. Valtteri Bottas and everyone else nowhere to be seen, as everyone else has decided to pit for those wet tyres. You can see Daniel Ricciardo looking a bit disappointed, but I think he should be happy with that result. I think he was aiming for 2nd this race, but that wasn't going to happen, unfortunately. As you can see, the race results on the screen. Nico Rosberg just ahead of Kimi Raikkonen and Lewis Hamilton, finishing off the podium. As we look at the Drivers' Championship standings, Rosberg's ahead by 20 points, but Luke is in 2nd, 3rd and 4th. It's a 3-way tie between Ricciardo, Raikkonen and Hamilton, all on 30 points for Sebastian Vettel, the closest challenger, in 5th position. As we move on to the Constructors' standings, Mercedes extend their lead to 80 points, 30 ahead of Ferrari, 42 ahead of Red Bull. Williams and Force India still in 4th and 5th, and Lotus moving all the way up to 6th position with the points they scored this weekend. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's race. Now it's time to move on to the podium. So it's 2 wins out of 2 for Nico Rosberg, really showing that he is going to push hard this year for the Drivers' Championship after being humiliated by Sebastian Vettel. Still a long way to go, it's still anyone's title. But I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. If you have, please leave a like, comment down below and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Thank you guys for 300 subscribers, which we hit a few weeks ago now. So it's time, guys. It's been DMath96. I'll see you guys later for the Chinese Grand Prix.